Seeing people in their late 20s, early 30s excited to go party with college kids, let's sit down for a second.
30 plus spring break final boss is a sentence spoken by someone who doesn't know they're a loser.
Everybody is talking about Houston for spring break, but why are y'all 25 plus talking about spring break? Spring break is for children in school, college students, teachers.
I put in PTO for spring break, and according to the internet, that's a crime. Right now, the internet is having a full debate about whether or not there's an age limit for spring break. Traditionally, spring break has always been a time where college students get a week off in March to decompress and to let their hair down. For years, places like Miami was known as the spring break capital, but lately we've been seeing cities like Houston pop up in the news for the new destination for spring break. And now the conversation online is, are some people too old to be participating in spring break? Does it sound ludicrous for you to put in PTO to be hanging out with literal teenagers or young adults? Because for decades, people have been saying once you reach a certain age, especially around 30, you're supposed to move to something different. The ideal used to be that your 30s were for building stability, focusing on your career, and preparing for the future, not being outside and partying all night. But Millennials and Gen X are pushing back on that idea and basically saying there's no limit on fun. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing if it's appropriate to attend spring break activities and festivities, even if you're not in college. One thing people online are pointing out is that now everyone had the same life timeline. A lot of people had children young, or they had responsibilities early in life. So instead of traveling or partying in their early 20s, they were raising kids, working full-time jobs, and taking on family, and they had to go to college later in life, or they might be in grad school. So now that they're in their 30s or even in their 40s and their kids are grown, they finally have the financial freedom that they're experiencing. They're experiencing things they missed for the first time around. For them, spring break isn't about trying to relive your youth. It's about finally experiencing something that you never had the chance to do. Another thing people brought up a lot is that a lot of college students are actually broke. In theory, spring break is for college students, but the reality is many people in their early 20s are struggling financially. They're working multiple jobs, or they barely have money to cover rent or tuition. They never had the opportunity to do it big or do the luxury trips and the beach parties and the travel experience because they didn't have a job that can afford that. Now that they're older and they're financially stable, they finally have the ability to travel, book flights, and actually enjoy these experiences. So some people are saying, I'm not too old for spring break. I just have money now and I'm going to spend it how I want to. And then we're going to talk about the people that think men, specifically women, feel like men love spring break because they get to be around young girls. But we're going to talk about that much later.
You're 30 plus and you're not a teacher or principal, like you don't work in the education system. Why are you on TikTok talking about, yay, spring break? They let y'all off of work for spring break? I have seen 4 separate grown men talking about spring break on the way. What do y'all do? Do you just like take a spring trip, bro? Call it a vacay. You're going on holiday. Anything but spring break, because I feel like y'all going out there to party with them college kids, bro. We're 30, bro. I'm about to be 32 next week. Spring break is crazy. Only reason I remember that it exists is because I have kids. What y'all talking about spring break? What, you go to Miami Beach for spring break? Man, I aged too quickly in terms of like maturity and the things that I like. I ain't going on vacation nowhere where there's a large crowd, bro. Unless it's Disney with the kids, and I hate that. Actually, I actually hate it. One of the main things I look up before I go somewhere is it peak season for vacationers to go there? And if it is, I'm not going. Why are you so excited about spring break?
I think it's obvious. They never peaked in high school. They didn't have the means to do the things when they were that age, or they weren't in the proximity or in that circle to be able to enjoy spring break. So that's truly why I feel like 50% of the adults that indulge in kid activity, I like to call it hood rat or a young HO activity. People that participate in that type of activity, it's because you never lived when you were that age. So now you have to do that in your 30s and your 40s. And there's nothing wrong with this if that is your experience. And a perfect example of that is a YouTuber by the name of Primetime Hitter. He is well over 25. He's not in college. And he stated that guys needed to watch out. If their girl came to Houston for spring break, they needed to watch out because he was in Houston. And to me, that just sounds very predatory. Why do you care if women between the ages of 18 to 25 that are in college and they're coming to Houston for fun? Why do you care that they're here? You should be able to get women that's 30, 40, whatever, you know, in your age group. Why do you care about them? This reminds me of when older women try to compete with younger women and they create all of these derogatory sayings like, oh, hide your man, or if I see him, he gonna get took. And it's just like that shouldn't be your psychology. That shouldn't be in your mind at the age of 30. You shouldn't care what younger women are doing, or you shouldn't care what younger men are doing. There's a level of immaturity and insecurity for you to be worried about what teenagers are doing. You still have a fear of missing out because you missed out as a kid. So now you just want to be in everything that the youth is
30
doing.
plus spring break final boss is a sentence spoken by someone who doesn't know they're a loser. This isn't the semester. This is first quarter. You're not on spring break. You're on lunch break. You're not taking some young man's chick. You're soliciting babies. Is it starting to sink in a little bit? And the immaturity is just all in y'all demeanor, which is why the women you looking for are at spring break. Because women your age don't want spring break. They're planning vacations. Vacations abroad. I mean, at minimum, like a road trip. And I'm not saying that like women in their 30s don't appreciate the beach. They just probably aren't talking about spring break because they have work tomorrow. I need more dudes to see this. Because if you're not careful, those two dudes will be you. Pushing 30, scoping out busy beaches for college students. Grown man, by the way. Don't believe me? Watch this. Coming to the internet to flex that you on R. Kelly timing is crazy.
Everybody trying to come to Houston. Everybody keep making these TikTok videos about coming to Houston, this and the third, trying to get up with these things like that and try to have fun with you. The main thing y'all leaving out is the people who live in Houston that you're going to have to run into. We are the final bosses. Hey, kiss it goodbye. This shit is already little fine for us on this. Me and Dre tried our best not to even participate in spring break this year. Because last year was like, we're not even going to do it. When they made an announcement and said, Houston?
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Listen, like, bro, I'm not gonna lie. If y'all come to Houston for spring break, bro, you the play. I ain't gonna lie, bro. You where you need to be is what you looking for, bro. But, bro,
why are you laughing? You one of them.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are,
Bro, no, I'm.
So, final bosses of spring break. Y'all are telling me that two 30-plus-year-old men came on here and said that men between the ages damn near 17 to 25 better watch they bitch they come out here because they're the final bosses of spring break. That's what you're telling me? For a break that they're a spring that they don't need to break from because they're not in school. That's what you're telling me? Like 30-plus-year-old unks back in the day, they used to be excited about the warm weather because they could be the final bosses of the grill. They would be on the grill. They would be getting their patio and their house together to be hosting and stuff like that. They'd be excited about going to Home Depot or, you know, or something. Not about no spring break that I do with them. Talking about watch your... What? That ain't no goddamn spring break. That is PTO. You want to know why? Because you're not in school.
So I've been seeing the talk about spring break in Houston and the shenanigans. And I look in the comments of a video and they like, oh, so you got to be in school to celebrate spring break? Yes, nigga, that's the whole point. Yes. Whether it be elementary school, middle school, high school, college, nigga, the spring break is a break for school. Your job don't give you no break. You should only know about spring break as a real adult because your kids are in school and they have a break. Are y'all cool? What?
Spring break was not even a thought process after college. Seeing people in their late 20s, early 30s excited to go party with college kids. Let's sit down for a second. I seen that video, those two dudes saying they're the final bosses of college spring break. What do you mean by that? Well, I remember my spring break, 2017, Fort Lauderdale. That was a time for a 21-year-old. There are plenty of events for adults, literally all throughout the year. What's going on? I'm really trying to put together logical reasons as to why a 30-year-old would want to be spring breaking with college kids. Final bosses, 30-year-olds partying with 20, 21-year-olds.
And a lot of millennials are debunking this way of thinking by saying you shouldn't have an expiration date on fun. They argue that the old saying and the old mindset that you shouldn't go to clubs after 30, you shouldn't party, you shouldn't stay out late is just an old way of thinking. To them, being in your 30s and your 40s doesn't mean you stop having fun and enjoying life. It just means that you do things differently. And if you're doing things that you did when you were younger, it's not really an issue. I only find this concerning is because I remember being 20, 21 and being young and impressionable and being taken advantage of by guys that were much older than me because I didn't know any better, but I thought I knew everything. So I feel like it's concerning if a grown man wants to hang out. Like, even if you're in your 40s, like, I think back when I was 22 talking to men that were in their 30s and 40s, it's just like, what did you want with me? Like, we don't have anything in common. What did you want with me? I'm actually disgusted in these men. But when you're 20, 21, you don't see anything wrong with it. You think fun is just fun. And I think women that's of age and men that have kids now, they're able to reflect on that. And that's why it's the issue. Not that you want to have fun and go out and party and club, because I'm not in my 30s yet, but I definitely still like to have fun and I still go to clubs. But I go the other way. If I see a bunch of people that looks like they don't have no hair on their face yet, they look like they still haven't hit puberty yet, I don't want to be in the same club as you. I don't want to be in the same spot as you. Sorry, not sorry. I like the 25 and up spots. Even when I was in college, top flight, if you know, you know. 21 and up, I don't want to be around babies. So it's concerning that a lot of men, they don't see a problem with hanging around people that are barely adults.
I know I'm 31, but at this big age, I low-key want to go to Houston for spring break. I don't give a what none of y'all niggas talk about, saying that I'm too old to go to spring break, I'm too old to do this and that, because guess what? I don't give a and you never too old to have fun. So what's up? Who going to Houston for spring break?
People over the age of 24 shouldn't be going to spring break. And because I am older than 24, and I do have several people that I know personally that are in college doing their first degree, they're getting, mind you, I'm 27. So I'm still in school, but I know a lot of people that are over the age of 25 that are in college for the first time or haven't finished their degrees. They forget that a lot of people don't go to college at 18, even though there is a large bracket, like there is a large percentage of people that do go and get their degrees from 18 to 22 because it is traditional to do so. The average age of a person that goes to college is 26 years old. It's 26 years old. Over 1/4 of the population that goes to college is over the age of 26. So y'all think that just because y'all are 18 to 22 and y'all young in turn, y'all are the only people that are allowed to take spring break. And they're saying like, oh, people are calling off work. People in college have jobs too. 18 to 22-year-olds, they have jobs that they're calling off. So what point exactly are you trying to make that people my age aren't allowed to go to spring break because we have the week off? Like, where are we supposed to go? What are we supposed to do for our week off? We can't have fun. Like, we can't take a break as grown adults. And I could understand if you're talking about people that aren't in college, but I still don't even feel like it matters, because if I'm 27 and I'm in college and I have a friend that's not in college and I want them to come with me because a part of their friend group is taking a trip, they go too. Why does it matter?
I'm glad that there's finally outrage of grown behind people going to spring break, because this has in fact been happening. And what's crazy is y'all talk about, oh, them girl mans going down at spring break. Yes, very weird behavior. But also, y'all don't talk about how them grown men be at them college clubs, them college bars. They love the just weave their way into the college spaces. Like, it's really weird. Like, it gives predatory behavior. It gives like, oh, people my age won't go for none of this foolishness, and I'm a lame and I peaked in high school, so let me go to where there's essentially still high school students, because college is literally just a step from high school. Like, a lot of people in college still have high school brains. My sister literally asked me, she was like, oh, let's go to Houston. I was like, okay, cool. She sent me the party flyer she's trying to go to. It says spring break. I said, baby, I'm not going with you. I'm so sorry. Sissy can't go with you. Because you know why? I have an intelligent brain, and I'm like, why would I want to be around a whole bunch of youngins? Yes, I would go for my sister, but I'm not going. I told her, you gotta find somebody else your own age. We can go to Houston after spring break, maybe anytime. But during this specific time frame, you won't catch me. You will not catch me out. You know why? Why would I want to go around with a whole bunch of kids? I'm 29. Why would I want to go out with a whole bunch of... Also, spring break is for the kids who are in school to have time to let loose and have fun. Why would I want to occupy a space to take away from that? When I had spring break, I indeed was spring breaking. I didn't want no grown people around. The hell? Why is you taking up tickets? Why are you taking up tickets? The college kids ain't even got no jobs. And you taking up tickets, you taking up spaces they can't get in. That's, oh my gosh. But you know what? Y'all think this is crazy, but this happens so often. So often. And the fact that you know it happens so often, they were bold enough to get online, and they 1,000% thought it wasn't right. Hide your women, because we outside. We the final bosses. Oh my gosh, tomatoes. Tomatoes, you're a predator. You're predators.
I hate how these days they try to put an age limit on every damn thing. They be acting like, oh, if you a grown man, you cannot have no type of fun. I keep seeing posts like, if you a grown man, you shouldn't be excited for spring break. Who gave you the right to tell me when and when I can't be excited? Like, wasn't the point of living was to grow up so you can finally be able to enjoy some of this? Because we not finna act like when we were younger, when we were teens, we just could do everything the way we can now as adults. Like back then, there was hella limitations on had to be home at a certain time, couldn't use certain substances. Now that you finally grown, the internet want to tell you what you cannot be happy about. I don't like.
End of the day, the real conversation isn't about spring break. It's about how society thinks that people should behave a certain way at certain ages. For generations, people believe that once you hit 30, life should become more serious and more structured. But the newer generation is challenging that idea. That's why I included both sides in this video. The real question is, are people actually too old for spring break, or are we just redefining what fun looks like as we get older? I want to hear from you guys.